Hi everyone, my name is Joanna Smith Ramos, and I am sitting here in my office at my practice contemplating what video to start with. And what I've decided to do is do a video about mindfulness. The reason being is it's been a topic that's been coming up a lot in the work that I've been doing the last couple weeks with clients. And so my assumption is always if one person is at least asking about it, then there's others probably inquiring. I also recently did a blog entitled Mindfulness, What It Is and Is Not. I find that a lot of people have sort of a preconceived idea of what that term means. And there are some, I think, there's just a lot of misuses of the term in the general public. So I thought I would do just sort of a general short video about what mindfulness is and just kind of break it down so that if you are one of the people that maybe don't really know what it's about, you might find this helpful. If at any point people are wanting more information, I'm happy to give more specifics and maybe even do more videos. Mindfulness is kind of a big term, so there's lots that can be included in it. So to begin, how I generally describe mindfulness to the clients that I work with is it's kind of the opposite of what the name suggests. For me, it's really an opportunity to get out of your head, to get out of your mind. It's about really integrating into the here and now and being present focused. It kind of gets associated, I think, for some with being sort of this granola type term. I know some people probably attribute it to like yoga, maybe meditation, things like that, but mindfulness, it can be practiced in a lot of different ways, and everybody can access it in a way that is best helpful to themselves. But the thing I've noticed, the pattern that most people experience on a daily basis is just kind of surviving. We're so overscheduled. We have so many responsibilities. We're just kind of flying through our days, just trying to get through it and then go to bed, and the next day we do it again. And though this seems probably to be sort of the normal daily grind, the issue is it's really draining. We have a tendency, I think, at least culturally here in the States, to really focus on being productive. We have a high respect and high regard for, professional positions and being responsible and following through with our obligations and commitments. And so there's a tendency, I find, for people to sort of downplay the importance of just being. And my joke sometimes tongue-in-cheek is, are you able to do things that have no value other than the fact that they give you joy? There's no goals, there's no purpose, there's no long-term plan with something. It's just that you do something because you like it. Those are tasks or activities that mindfulness could be really helpful in for you to really fully extract all joy from that. And it's a tool all around just to kind of slow down days. So, in explanation, what the heck is mindfulness? Mindfulness, again, is really about integrating into your experience in the here and now. It's about, for me, one way to really look at it is you're using your full sensory system. An example is like taking a hot bath. A lot of people take hot showers, baths to relax, but they don't actually use mindfulness during that activity, which would probably result in more relaxation. And how you do it is you just use your sensory system. So it's, what do you notice as far as, what do you see? What do you hear? Do you hear the water? Do you hear the splashing? Do you hear music? Are you just listening to silence and enjoying just some quiet time? What do you smell? Do you smell your favorite soap? Do you have a candle lit? What do you feel on your skin? Do you feel the hot water? Do you notice the soothing impact on your muscles? Do you notice your muscles relaxing? Taking note of all of these experiences really actually deepens your experience, and it really anchors you in the present. And the importance of this is it gets you out of your head, sort of that looping kind of self-talk, chatter, sometimes worry. That's really hard to stop. So it's a nice way just to kind of ground in the moment, do something that you really enjoy, just kind of calm things down, and it can be helpful in shifting moods. Sometimes I hear mindfulness used in a way to suggest that negative emotions are bad, and they're not. Negative emotions are just as valid as positive ones. They're just as needed. They're super uncomfortable. Nobody necessarily enjoys feeling sad or frustrated. And a lot of times when we are in those emotional states, the people around us aren't really sure how to be supportive and tend to do or say things, usually with positive intent, that can actually be really invalidating. So one way I've heard mindfulness misused is to suggest that people should just use it as a way to not feel bad, that if they were mindful, they wouldn't be upset, and that's just not the case. It's not effective, it's not really how it's used, and overall it's just really invalidating. What can happen is mindfulness, if you're having a really hard time, whether you're stressed, anxious, just kind of having a low day, can be a tool to refocus. So it can't take something that's negative and reframe it into positive, because again, it's not going to be effective, it's not going to work, and it just isn't helpful. But you can take a moment where you might be feeling something negative and use a mindful practice to shift out of that by refocusing on something that gives you joy and pleasure. Or it just may be something that makes you feel better. We can't always move from a really negative state to a positive state. Sometimes it's just too much of a shift, or the situation is just too complicated to allow for that. But you can always look for opportunities to feel better. And mindfulness is one of many, many tools that you can use to do that. So like the prior example of just taking a hot bath, that's one way to do it. Sometimes people will go and just sit on a bench outside during work, like their lunch break, just to kind of feel the sun. Some people listen to music, some people meditate, going for walks. It can be all sorts of different things. Whatever works for you, and everyone is uniquely different, which is why this term, even though I'm just kind of doing a general overview, we could do 20 videos on it, honestly. So that is sort of my summary or breakdown of what mindful is and is not. My encouragement to all those that I work with is to really learn to kind of slow down the pace. Start to value the importance of just sort of being. Learn the skills and the activities and the ways that you can kind of get out of that worry loop, and just be really present focused. And a really great reminder, especially those who have kids, are to watch the little kids. Everything is playful for them. And I don't know if you've had it, it can get frustrating because they definitely, especially really little ones, kind of move on their own timeline. And sometimes as adults we can get frustrated, kind of wanting them to hurry up. But it's amazing to me how many times they're pointing things out that I've missed. Maybe it's the airplane in the sky, or something on a shelf that I've walked by a million times. And even though there's kind of an awareness of these things, it's like in the peripheral. So we just lose track of some of our surroundings and the activities we're doing. And a really good example of that is just driving. How many times do you get in the car and you have your destination, and before you know it, you're there and you don't really remember because we were in your head. So that kind of shows how automated we are sometimes with a lot of the things we do. We're doing one thing and we're already projecting forward, worrying or thinking about our to-do lists or what have you. So we're not actually even attending to what we're doing in the moment. So again, mindfulness is a great way to really kind of submerge into what's going on now. It's a great way to help shift from negative to positive or neutral emotional states. And just kind of as a self-soothe. So I hope this was helpful. Please feel free, again, these videos are meant to be helpful, informative, and maybe generate kind of an interaction so people can share what they use for themselves as far as mindful practices, what they find really helpful. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any, so feel free to comment below. Otherwise, thanks so much for your time and have the greatest of days. Bye.